Yeah, we always think the grass is greener on the other side, and I've told my broker a couple times I was going to leave, but then I sit back and go, I mean, jobs that I had in the past, you work for people that, they have a good business, but they don't know how to run it, or the opposite. And I'm like, I'm finally at a place where they invest money in me, invest all the time, and it's like a family, so why do I want to leave what I always was looking for?
Okay, so here's a question I'm curious about. What do you expect from a broker?
So for me, I just expect attention, support, training. Like when I moved to my office, that's when my business, because my broker is from Sri Lanka, his English was not the best, and 3 years ago before he opened the brokerage, he did, like 1.3 million on his own and only listings and referred all the buyers. So he motivated me, and then that's what got me going. For me, it's the positive energy. And when I call you, that you're not rushing me to get off the phone. That's my big thing.
I think that's a big thing. So for me, I know I've been with the same brokerage since I started, and I'm really comfortable saying, even though I know she'll probably be watching this because she is very supportive, is they're lucky that I didn't have the knowledge I have now when I interviewed them. Yeah. Because I didn't really interview them. I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything about real estate. I knew nothing. The reason I went with them is because I had currently been working in Vaughan. They had an office there. I'm from Newmarket, and that's where I was living. And I had a boat in Aurelia, and they had an office there. Well, wasn't that great? Because I can work everywhere, including my boat.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't, at the time, the brokerage really, there was zero support. She had just had a baby. I didn't know who my broker of record was, actually, for a couple of years. Actually, that's true. I really didn't. But I'm glad I have stuck with them because they have listened to the things that were needed. And I can honestly say that last year, I went to them with a couple times I'd gone with certain things, but last year I went. They gave me not only the time of the day, but they listened. We have over 130 agents, I think. And I sat down and said, here's my concerns. I don't like the space that we're in.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable, even coming here at night. And I'm not comfortable bringing clients here because it doesn't represent my business properly. And as much as I love, literally she has come to my kids' first birthdays and gotten them beautiful gifts, close to her. But at the end of the day, you have to remember, it is business.
That's right.
So that is one thing I would tell everybody is really separate how you feel and business, because they are running a business as well, and they will respect you and appreciate you if you approach it properly.
And you're doing a disservice by not approaching it.
And give them the time of the day. People that just pick up and leave and get other brokerages to send over that they've left, I think, something would have to be really wrong for me to do that to my broker. Give them the time of the day. I sat down with them. I explained my concerns. I explained why I wasn't happy, and they made a move. Not in a year, like I said. I'm not expecting you to pick up and find a new brokerage location, which is difficult.
Yeah.
They made a move, and they made a beautiful office. They listened. They did it. And not just for me, but I think I was a little bit of a voice for many people, and I think that was a big thing.
And that's where we're similar. So the only reason I ever contemplated leaving was because the location is not convenient. It's in Scarborough. I don't work in Scarborough.
Right.
And I went to my broker and I said, I sent him a text. I said, call me. I'm thinking of moving. He called me. What do you want? Tell me where you want a satellite office. I'll get it. Anything you want. So that's what I respect. I feel like anywhere I go, nobody's going to give me the attention I get. But I'm a favorite.
Right? But it's a support. I love that they... Do I think there's other things we could improve on? Sure. But I think that they're so open to hearing what I have to say and respecting it. Like I said, I've spoken to many broker owners. I always know what's going on in other brokerages around town because I think that's important to just know. And they could offer me the world, but if they don't respect me, which is something I didn't feel, like I explained with my last meeting, sure, they offered me a lot. Would I have saved a ton on, fees and all this stuff? Sure.
But you have to be careful on what they offer too, because there are a lot of brokerages that just offer the world, but they're not around.
They're not.
Having been a broker owner, there's not all that much money to it. I mean, the agents think, oh my God, they're making a fortune off us. No, they're not.
Anyone can do the math.
To run a bricks and mortar office with staffing and everything else, I mean, your annual budget's, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So you've got to kind of respect to the point to say, okay, am I being reasonable? Yeah, we can all work, and it's the same thing. We don't want our clients to nickel and dime us and give us, and yet we turn around and say, oh, well, yeah, but broker, I want a better cut. Now, well, at what point do they not make money?
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually coaching a brokerage out in the West End, and I was coaching their agents, and they said, would you coach our management team? And when I sat down and looked at what their business plan was, it was, guys, I hate to tell you, but this is a plan for bankruptcy. You're not making any money, and they had just moved into new space. And I said, this is insane. You don't have a path to profit here. And very quickly thereafter, that's exactly what happened. But I could see it just by looking at what they were doing. They were giving away everything to the agent. I get it. But ultimately, we have to have a partnership. We have to say the broker has to get paid too, just like a partnership with our clients, and saying the clients need to, but we need to get paid too.
And that's where the value comes in. At my brokerage, the family feeling and it's not, you're not going to find that. Any other brokerage can offer you the world, but you won't find that, and that's what's important.
But it depends. It comes down. I think it's similar to when you're finding clients. It comes down to the same thing. What do you expect and what do you want? Some people don't care about having an office. They work at home. They never go in. They would rather very little fees. They don't care about the brand and what the brand has to offer.
They don't really care to communicate with all the people.
No, and I don't necessarily actually went to the office very often either, but I still wanted one that I was proud to go in when I went.
But again, too, you're right, too. You have to look at it. It is a business. And when I'm talking to agents and they say, oh, well, I'm happy where I am. Okay, well, that's a good thing. Although if good is the enemy of great, happy can be the enemy of joy if you're not careful. But by the same token, I'll ask them, hey, listen, if your broker owner got an awesome offer today, hey, I'll give you $5 million for the brokerage, would they come and talk to you about it? Probably not. So you do have to remember that we are independent business people, that we want to be happy, we want to be respected and treated fairly. We want to pay enough to make sure that the brokerage is going to
be everyone's happy.
Long range. But by the same token, you're still a business person, and I know some of even my ownership probably gets a little bit nervous, because my view is that I work for the agent.
Well, they're your client.
We are that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I don't care what the law says in the fact that, yes, they are employees under Revenue Canada or Canada Revenue Services, whatever. But when it comes down to it, if I don't do my job as a managing broker, I don't have any agents tomorrow.
That's right.
So it does go both ways. We do have to remember we're independent business people, so we do have to do what's best for us, but it's not just financial.
That's right.
It is the whole picture. And there's days where you might look and say, you know what, I've changed, and the whole picture has changed. Excuse me, go away. The whole picture has changed. So now I'll reevaluate and see if there's a better model for me. There may not be. And that's where you say, hey, I'm right where I should be.
Right. I think a lot of people are really quick to move and blame, like, I'm not getting this, or I'm not getting this, or I'm not getting this, but what are you doing?
Well, and when I was a broker manager, broker owner, it was interesting because you'd have certain people, and if you checked their history, you would see that they were just going from the new thing to the new thing to the new thing to the new thing. And you realize, okay, you're coming here because I'm the latest new thing. And then when that doesn't work, then you're just going to go out and blame me because that didn't work.
So can I ask you then? Because here's the thing that I think, whether you're new to the business or been in it a long time, a lot of realtors have their perception on brokerages, just like clients do of realtors, and that is they'll take anybody. And they should, because I'm the one that makes them money. And then we all say, well, I work for so-and-so, but really, do I? Because I pay them.
That's right.
So Do you
The brokerage
interview?
works for you as far as I'm concerned. Yes, I do.
So that's a big thing.
And
I
do
think
I
there's a
take
lot of
everybody?
brokerages that'll
Absolutely
just
not.
take anybody and anything. They don't care if they're doing one deal, 0 deals. At the end of the day, they're collecting their fee.
And-
But do you believe that brokerages should, it's a brand, right? And their employees, their realtors, or however you want to call them, should represent their brand?
Yeah, there's certain things that we have to look at that determines whether or not I would want to take somebody on. One of which is, are they ethical and legal? Because, there are people out there. I had a situation with a former broker owner, and one of their agents was chasing expireds. And I happened to come across it. I was just working as an agent and happened to meet this person, and they actually showed me the letter that they had gotten after the expiry, and honestly it was pretty much, your previous agent was a jerk and didn't know what the heck they were doing, but I'm special. And they were happy with that because the guy had succeeded, and great, super. But I happened to run into him and say, so you chase expireds? Oh, no, I don't. Oh, yeah, you do. And I was working for the same brokerage.
Yeah.
So I went to the broker owner and he said, well, what do I do? If I tell him he can't, he's going to go someplace else.
Right.
Okay, but then you have to decide what are your standards as a brokerage? So there are certain people, no, I would not accept.
That's why I've really respected, because I've been working with a company lately, and they are so fast that if they get proof that someone's an ethical, no matter how big of a producer, they let go I think they did almost 600 deals a year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it was something came in, but it was one of those ones where there was proof and it was irrefutable.
Yeah.
I saw
Within an hour they were gone.
Yeah.
And that was it, just out. And then another big brokerage, I don't think it's what you're talking about, but it was same, different brand, but huge brokerage in the US, just right away was yep,
Boom. Yeah,
you're in
take
with
it.
us.
Yeah.
And celebrated that they got this coup, and everyone's no.
Right. So I think that's a good topic or question. People often, when they're interviewing a brokerage, whether they're new or just looking to make a change, it's always, what's my commission split? What are my fees? What do I get?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, they don't care about
maybe
anything else.
you should be asking, what are your ethics?
Do you have a
Do
code of
you
ethics?
have a
Here's
code
the
of ethics?
question.
That's right.
Here's the question that I tell every agent. That if you're interviewing new brokers, the one question you need to ask is, how are you going to treat me when I leave? I know how you're going to treat me when I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll give you this and this and this and this. What are you going to do when I leave? Because at some point, it's very likely. I mean, I've been doing this for 43 years.
Yeah.
I've moved a few times. I don't move often. I've moved a lot more lately, but that's just because of circumstances as they were. How are you going to treat me when I leave? Are you going to transfer my listings? When calls come in after I've gone,
That's
are you going to
true.
say, oh,
Yeah.
so-and-so
That's a
is
good
now moved at ABC Realty and forward the number? Or are you, like a brokerage I know of, going to say, I believe they've left the business?
Right.
How are you going to treat me
It's a good.
when I
like that.
leave?
Because if you're there for a few years, people, and you're bringing people in the office all the time,
Yeah.
you get to know it. So that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are they going to try and steal your business? Are they not going to return your listings so that they can give them to their favored people in their office? And that happens. And they can
of course.
legally
Of
do
course it
it.
does.
This is
Yeah.
where we get back into the legal, ethical, and moral. It's a moral, but they can still do it. It's
Yeah.
legal.
Right.
So that's my big question when I ever have gone to a brokerage is, how are you going to treat me when I leave? And they kind of go, well, hold on, you're just coming. You mean, no, I could leave in 20 years.
Yeah.
But when I do, what does that look like? And as a broker, when I've had people that come in and say, oh, we're going to be a team, and they're all excited, and I go, good, show me what the divorce decree looks like before we start dating, because when it happens, and it might be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, I don't care. You're going to come back to me, and you're going to want me to solve it. And I'm going to pull out that divorce decree that we talked about before you became a team, and I'm going to go, when you were happy, that's what you decided, and that's how we're going to do it.
So what would you put in the prenup?
Oh, they can do whatever they want, but how are you going to divide the listings if you're farming? How are you going to divide the farm? How are you going to divide the deals that have already been done? All of those things have to be worked out. And going into teams, which is a completely different topic for a different day, you also have to look at all the legal and tax implications. What happens if your partner goes bankrupt? But you have a legal partnership. Doesn't mean that the creditors aren't going to come after you. And we don't think about those things. We're just so, oh, this is wonderful. We're all excited.
Hey, I did that. I got asked to join somebody who I thought was very successful when I first started, and I realized after on they were, but it didn't jive, and I didn't think about it. And I think, like anyone says, for partnerships don't often work, anyways. First of all, but there should be like everyone's, what's it called, like responsibilities up front.
Yeah.
Right.
And just like when you're getting married to somebody, nobody wants to bring up like a prenup or something up front. But
Right.
if you bring that heart or BRA, whatever, you bring that up in the beginning, then you don't have to worry about it later on when it really
Right.
comes at you.
Mhm.